Last week we got a very impressive first look at gameplay for Star Wars Outlaws, Ubisoft's open world game set in the galaxy far, far away. And from everything we've seen, and that the developers have said, it looks like it's delivering the Star Wars experience many of us have been dreaming of. So I just wanted to highlight a few things from the demo that stuck out to me and talk a little bit about what I'd like to see in the game. An open world Star Wars game in the style of Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption is something I've personally fantasized about for years, and that seems to very much be the angle Ubisoft is taking with Outlaws, allowing players a sense of freedom we've just never had in a Star Wars game before. Just selecting a planet to travel to and standing in the cockpit watching the Mantis take off and jump into hyperspace is one of my favourite features in the Jedi games, and that's literally a hidden loading screen. So just the idea of manually doing that yourself, of hopping off your speeder bike, running onto your ship, taking off, flying out of the planet's atmosphere into space, selecting a system to travel to and then jumping into hyperspace pretty much seamlessly makes me genuinely giddy. I am curious about some of the mechanics of the open world though. Can you shoot and kill bystanders like in Red Dead for example? Or does entering the atmosphere of a planet from space always lead you to the same location? While it's not yet been confirmed how many planets we'll be traveling to, we do have a few confirmed locations. Toshara, the planet featured in the demo, will be the game's biggest and most prominent planet, similar to Kobo in Jedi Survivor. The end of the demo sees the player jump to the Akiva system, which is a planet featured in the Aftermath books. Kijimi, the planet that gets destroyed in The Rise of Skywalker, is also confirmed. And of course we see Tatooine in the trailer. I know a lot of people are sick of seeing Tatooine, particularly in the Disney Plus shows, but for a game like this, I think it kinda had to be included. I'd imagine we'll get to visit Jabba's palace, with Mos Eisley or Mos Espa being the main hub of the planet. And lastly, this hasn't been confirmed, but one of the locations seen in the trailer looks very similar to Canto Bight, the casino city from The Last Jedi. And while I'm not a fan of that sequence in the movie, I think it makes sense in this game, giving you somewhere you can gamble your credits away. Also, considering the story revolves around the player pulling off a massive heist, Canto Bight seems like a likely candidate for the target. There's a couple of other planets in the trailers that I don't recognize, so that makes at least 7 planets total we'll be visiting. Plus, the developers have confirmed there will be space stations to explore as well. Regarding the story, this is the exact setting I would have hoped for with an open world Star Wars game, focusing on the scum and villainy side of the universe. I really like the look of the protagonist Kay Vess, described as a Han Solo type. Personally, I had guessed this kind of game would have featured a bounty hunter protagonist along the lines of Din Djarin or Boba Fett, but I'm quite happy with the scoundrel archetype regardless. Also, I would imagine there will be bounty hunting side quests in the game anyway. You see in the demo that your blaster has a stun setting, which I suspect will tie into the bounty hunting, allowing you to capture your bounties alive. I'm hoping to see Outlaws take some cues from Jedi Survivor in regards to customization, with tons of hairstyles and outfits, maybe even helmets too, to make Kay feel like her own. Kay also passes by a workbench in the demo, so this is probably where you'll be upgrading your blaster and ship. I love what we've seen of the supporting characters too. Nix looks like another very lovable Star Wars companion that I'm sure we'll feel very connected to as we play. His functionality in gameplay is also really cool. You can use him to activate switches, attack or distract guards, and even fetch you weapons dropped by enemies. As a prequel kid, I love battle droids, and just the Clone Wars era as a whole, so I was immediately ecstatic seeing ND5, a trenchcoat clad BX commando droid serving as part of the crew. Between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi is an interesting period to set the game, and gives a good idea of what familiar characters might make an appearance. Kay can take missions and earn favour with the various crime syndicates. There are 5 major syndicates active in the universe at this point: the Hutts, Black Sun, the Crymora, the Pikes, and Crimson Dawn. We see Jabba the Hutt ushering a carbon frozen Han Solo into his palace in one of the trailers, and since his palace is almost guaranteed to be a location in the game, I'd take it Jabba, Bib Fortuna, the Max Rebo band, and Boba Fett are likely to make an appearance. Black Sun appears in Clone Wars, but were originally created for Shadows of the Empire, led by Prince Shizor. Shizor has just recently been brought back into canon, but has yet to physically appear, so I would love to see Outlaws give us his grand reintroduction to the Star Wars universe. The Pikes have featured in the Clone Wars, Solo, and the Book of Boba Fett, where Cad Bane acts as an enforcer for them. It's unknown how long he'd been working for the Pikes, so it's possible he may show up in relation to their storyline. The Crymora Syndicate has only ever been mentioned in various books and comics, so I could imagine the developers may want to focus on them and flesh them out since they'd have so much free reign. And the final crime syndicate, Crimson Dawn, featured primarily in Solo and are playing a large role in the current Star Wars comics, which are also set between Empire and Jedi. They're led by Kira, Emilia Clarke's character in Solo, and I'd absolutely love to see her make make an appearance, with Clark reprising the role. Also, this character has led to a lot of speculation. According to the trailer, his name is Jalen, but he bears more than a striking resemblance to Kyle Katarn from the Dark Forces and Jedi Knight games. So it would be amazing if this turns out to be Katarn's return to canon, though I'm hesitant at the inclusion of any Jedi characters in the game. Outside of those, given the setting, pretty much any of the bounty hunter characters like Bosk or Dengar are on the cards. Fennec Shand is a favourite of mine, so I'd absolutely love to see her show up. Finding and selling artifacts has been mentioned by the developers as a feature of the game, so my mind instantly jumped to Dr. Aphra, a character long overdue making the jump from the comics to another medium. And I know this is a long shot, but Jedi Survivor gave us some amazing side characters that I'd love to see cross over. Cage seems like a natural fit, but I'd absolutely lose my mind if we get to see Turgle again and have to bail him out of another sticky situation. While the demo was impressive, some elements did look like they need a bit more work. The shooting did look a little off, and some of the physics seemed a little bit wonky. But the game is probably a year or so away, so hopefully the developers are able to iron all that out. Ubisoft unfortunately has a bit of a track record with games not quite living up to their demos, buggy launches, and endless delays. But at the same time, they have delivered some of the best open world games ever made, so we'll just have to wait and see. So that's pretty much everything I have to say about Star Wars Outlaws at the moment. I'll be doing a few videos about the game between now and its release next year as we get more news. So if you enjoyed this and you want to see more, go ahead and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.